This is so special. Welcome, all of you, to the commencement for the Washington University School of Medicine for the class of 2023. I'd like to invite our faculty and our graduates to be seated, and I would like to a special welcome to all of the families and our guests of the class of 2023 to this such an important day for all of us. Before we get started, I would like to give a shout out. We are very lucky to have our Chancellor, Andrew D. Martin, and also Rich Leichwig, CEO of BJC Healthcare, our hospital partner, here with us today. Thank you, Chancellor Martin. It's now a very special pleasure for me to introduce Dr. Anthony Fauci, the recent recently retired director of it stopped, so I could, of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease and the National Institutes of Health. Dr. Fauci has been a medical advisor to 7 US presidents. With an extensive research portfolio on domestic and global health issues. Over a period of decades, he oversaw NIAID's basic and applied research to prevent, diagnose, and treat diseases such as HIV, respiratory infections, diarrheal diseases, tuberculosis, malaria, as well as emerging infections such as Ebola, Zika, and COVID-19. And this included research in the intramural program of NIH, and then the work that was going on in medical schools and universities across the US as a part of the extramural program of NIAID. He also led NIAID research efforts on transplantation and immune-related illnesses, including autoimmune diseases, asthma, and allergies. At this medical school, we have followed Dr. Fauci's personal research program as a role model for the physician scientist, and we know him as one of the fathers of the field of clinical immunology. In his early work, he focused on vasculitis syndromes and pioneered the use of immunosuppressive agents, first for Wegener's granulomatosis and then for other collagen vascular diseases. In 1980, he turned his attention to immunodeficiencies with a paper in Nature that described the role of NK lymphocytes in a rare immunodeficiency. This was the beginning of our understanding of B and T lymphocytes and later subsets of these, but his work was always driven by understanding disease states and developing new, more effective treatments because his motivation was always as a physician and a scientist together. In the 1980s, he turned his attention to AIDS, and of course, this was an immunodeficiency and an infection. And so it was no surprise that Dr. Fauci would be ahead of the field, and his influence on the field would be transformational. Dr. Fauci has delivered major lectures all over the world. He serves on the editorial boards of many scientific journals and is an author, co-author, or editor on more than 1,400 scientific publications and several textbooks. He is also, of course, the recipient of numerous awards, including the National Medal of Science, the George M. Cover Medal of the Association of American Physicians, and the Mary Woodard Lasker Award for Public Service. He has received 58 honorary doctoral degrees from universities in the United States and abroad. It is a sign of our times that even with this very brief biographical sketch is overshadowed in the view of most of the country by the last 3 years, during which Dr. Fauci became the widely recognized face of public health, and specifically of the national COVID-19 response. Faced with an unprecedented and impossible task, he worked to stem the spread of the virus and accelerate development of life-saving vaccines. But as I'm sure you can tell by our having to be inside today, this extensive CV and his beyond impressive medical and scientific accomplishments have been too often reduced to political crossfire. We here at Washington University in St. Louis know him as the ultimate model of what can be achieved by the career of a physician-scientist. He is unfailingly erudite and an ongoing inspiration to all of us who make our careers trying to improve human health, whether in the clinic or in the lab. And so we can think of no one who could give this address to this graduating class like Dr. Tony Fauci. Please join me in welcoming him.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Perlmutter, for that very kind introduction, and thank you all in the audience for your very warm reception. Faculty members and administrators, distinguished guests, family members and friends of the graduates, and of course you, the 2023 graduates of the Washington University School of Medicine. I am truly delighted and honored to be your commencement speaker. Now, over the years, I have been privileged to deliver a fair number of commencement addresses. And speaking with medical school graduates is a special honor, since my professional passion and identity, first and foremost, has always been as a physician. And whatever path you take in your medical career, to me, you are the bright future of our noble profession. Now, while the broad context of my own medical school experiences and yours share many commonalities, your journey has been truly exceptional. For you persevered in your training despite the profound upheaval, constraints, and losses caused by the historic COVID-19 pandemic. Consciously or subconsciously, each of you will carry an imprint of this public health crisis that intruded upon your formal education as well as on your personal lives. I have enormous respect for your dedication that allowed you to successfully complete your medical school training under these trying circumstances. In addition, as I've recently learned, I am thoroughly impressed with the extraordinary and impactful response that your class mounted at the university and community levels during the height of the pandemic. Now, as we in the United States, as well as the global community, officially close the door on the emergency phase of the COVID-19 pandemic, I hope that you appreciate that alongside the pain, suffering, and disruption, the pandemic actually offered you a once-in-a-lifetime learning opportunity from which to launch your medical career and to witness firsthand an historic pandemic. In addition, it helped you to realize your own adaptability and resilience. These qualities enabled you to press on and emerge from this disruptive event to be here today to receive your hard-earned medical degree, and undoubtedly will serve you well in the future endeavors as medical professionals. Now that we've entered the post-emergency stage of the COVID pandemic, analyses of lessons learned have inevitably begun. I am speaking not only of lessons that we have learned from COVID that can help us prepare for the next public health challenge, but also lessons that will apply to your future professional and personal experiences that may be far removed from pandemic outbreaks. And so today I would like to briefly discuss just a few of these lessons. First, expect the unexpected. The early phase of the COVID pandemic was brought to public attention in January 2020, and the causative virus SARS-CoV-2 rapidly traversed the globe. However, as the pandemic unfolded over months and then incredibly over years, the virus successively revealed multiple secrets, each of which caught us by surprise, as well prepared as we thought we were. Importantly, we learned that SARS-CoV-2, unlike most other respiratory viruses, is most often transmitted from people who are infected but have no symptoms. Moreover, to further outwit us, the virus continually mutated to escape our immune defenses and protections, resulting in the repeated emergence of more transmissible variants, causing successive waves of infections, hospitalizations, and deaths. Each new revelation not only humbled us, but also reminded us that when facing novel challenges in life, any predictions we might make about what will happen next or how a situation will evolve must always be provisional. And accepting that reality means also accepting the critical importance of being open-minded and flexible in assessing a situation as new information unfolds. In my own career, some of the most remarkable events that I have experienced or directions that I have taken turned out to be unanticipated or unplanned. And so as you leave the comfortable and familiar environment of Washington University School of Medicine and venture out into the wider world to begin the next phase of your life, please keep in mind that career paths are not always linear. Mine certainly has not been. If I had stuck to my original plans made 50 years ago when I graduated from medical school, I would have been in the private practice of medicine out of the New York Presbyterian Hospital at Weill Cornell Medicine on York Avenue and 69th Street in Manhattan, and you would certainly have had a different commencement speaker. That's true. Inevitably, any plan can be waylaid by challenges and intermittently rocked by disappointments. But unexpected and sometimes exciting opportunities also present themselves. And so I encourage you to be open to pursuing and capitalizing on these unanticipated opportunities. It might require stepping out of your comfort zone, but doing so can be exciting, fulfilling, and potentially career and life altering. And so remember, expect the unexpected. Next lesson. Embrace science and beware of the insidious nature of anti-science. Over the past few years, you've been immersed in scientific courses and schooled in the scientific method of inquiry. As you well know, data and evidence leading to new insights are the stepping stones of science and enable progress in scientific and medical research. In this regard, for the 38 years that I have served as director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, my critical mission was to sustain a robust investment in basic and clinical research to better understand the human immune system and how microbes emerge, persist, and often cause widespread illness and death. A critical lesson we have learned from the COVID pandemic is the enormous payoff of that investment. Most notably, developing mRNA COVID vaccines was a breathtaking achievement. In January 2020, we first had the SARS-CoV genome sequence, and by December of that same year, 11 months later, the first authorized COVID vaccines went into the arms of individuals. This record-breaking timeline was only possible because of decades prior to 2020, we had invested steadily in fundamental research on immunology, on coronaviruses, on mRNA vaccine platform technology, on structure-based vaccine design, all of which was used to develop the first COVID vaccines. The result was millions of lives were saved in the United States and throughout the world. This is an extraordinary example of what investment in science can accomplish. Unfortunately, however, during the COVID pandemic, significant anti-science forces accelerated in our society and became louder and more entrenched over time. This phenomenon worries me greatly because it feeds on the denigration of scientific evidence and data, and disturbingly, the path from disparaging science-based medicine to undermining the foundation of our social order is a slippery slope. During the past 3 years, we've witnessed an alarming increase in the mischaracterization, distortion, and even vilification of solid evidence-based scientific findings. At the same time, conspiracy theories arose that became intermixed with these anti-science sentiments. The net result was that these dissonant information streams sowed public confusion and eroded trust in evidence-based public health principles. This became crystal clear as we fought to overcome false rumors about the mRNA vaccines during the rollout of the vaccine. And now, not only in our country, but worldwide, disparaging scientific evidence is threatening other critical aspects of public health as well, including the vitally important childhood immunizations. Next lesson. Push back on the normalization of untruths. Putting COVID aside for the moment, the rise of an anti-science sentiment is part of a pervasive, larger, and even more troublesome problem in our society. What I call the normalization and acceptance of untruths. Sadly, many in our society have grown increasingly unfazed by or even numb to the cacophony of falsehoods and lies that not uncommonly are spread by people motivated primarily by ideological agendas or even profit. An untruth can trickle out unchallenged into the wide sea of global information. And then, as it picks up uncritical believers and adherents, become a dangerous undercurrent that exists alongside the truth. We see this happen daily, propagated through a range of information platforms, especially social media. The COVID pandemic serves as a stark example of how these undercurrents of misinformation and disinformation become the enemies of public health. The promotion of lies, disinformation, and false conspiracy theories caused thousands of people to doubt the safety and effectiveness of proven vaccines and treatments, and thus to suffer illnesses and deaths that could have been prevented had they accessed these medical interventions. But beyond COVID, the normalization and acceptance of untruths and outright egregious lying threatens many other aspects of our lives, in education, in business, in the law, in a way that should deeply concern us all. I do not believe that I'm being hyperbolic when I say that the normalization and casual acceptance of untruths without our fiercely pushing back can gradually lead to the erosion of the foundations of our democracy. We need look back no further than January 6, 2021 for validation of this concern. And so, I plead with you as you leave this outstanding institution. You are our best hope to counter this threat to our social fabric. Do not hesitate to push back on these destructive forces with civility, but also with all the strength you can muster. As physicians, with insights into evidence-based medicine, do your best to listen to doubts and concerns, and in turn, communicate with plain language and compassion to your patients, to the media, and to anyone who will listen, and explain what is known and what is not known. An increasingly important and vital part of your career will be helping people to understand and to follow the best available science-based information. So let me leave you with a few thoughts on our chosen profession. Nearly a century ago, Dr. Francis Peabody told medical students at Harvard, and I quote, "One of the essential qualities of the clinician is interest in humanity, for the secret of the care of the patient is in caring for the patient." Simple words they are, but they are as true today as they were then. In our modern world of technology, a CT scan does not care for your patient. Robotics does not care for your patient. AI does not care for your patient. You and your humanity are the keys to optimal patient care. I have tried never to forget that, and I urge you to do the same. Finally, I have been speaking to you over the past few minutes about issues that have a serious air to them. I want to close with a reminder that amid these serious issues, life holds the potential for much joy. It is important that you allow yourselves to cultivate this joy as much as you do your professional accomplishments. Find your source of joy and embrace it. Many of you will be in serious and important positions starting relatively soon. This is not incompatible with the fact that you have so many other things to live for and to be happy about. Reach for them often and relish the joy. Congratulations to you, to your families and your loved ones. Good luck and God bless you.
As you can see, we very deeply admire you, and thank you so much for being here today, Dr. Fauci. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Sarah Cohen, the medical education representative, and the graduate who will introduce the Teacher of the Year Award. Sarah.
Thank you. In 1966, the graduating seniors inaugurated a Teacher of the Year Award to be presented to the member of the full-time faculty who, in the graduate's opinion, was the outstanding teacher whom they had encountered during their medical school years. Since 1970, each graduating class has selected 2 individuals, one from the preclinical faculty and another from the full-time clinical faculty, to receive the Teacher of the Year Award. This year's preclinical awardee is one of our most beloved faculty members and the director of the second-year nephrology course. The study of the kidney does not always excite medical students at the outset. Its intricacy can be daunting, but Dr. Stephen Chang turned studying one of the body's most complex organs into not only a manageable task, but also a truly enjoyable one. As one medical student put it, quote, "Before the renal course, I never would have described the kidney as cool, interesting, or fun, but Dr. Chang has made all 3 come true." Although his expectations during the course are high, Dr. Chang guides us to meet those expectations with kindness and caring, as well as a great sense of humor. He is approachable, teaches expertly, and always has a fun anecdote, clever analogy, or goofy schematic to help students understand and connect to the course material. Even a student's least favorite part of any course, the exam, of course, Dr. Chang has somehow mastered, with students describing his exam as not only rewarding, but, quote, perfect. Dr. Chang has shaped not only the preclinical experience, but also the careers of countless medical students, and we could not be more grateful for his tireless dedication to our learning. It is thus my honor to introduce Dr. Stephen Chang as the 2023 Preclinical Teacher of the Year. In 1979, Dr. Sidney S. Pearl, an alumnus of the class of 1932, established an award for inspirational teaching. Dr. Pearl stipulated that the awardee was to be chosen by the graduating class from among the clinical faculty. The awardee receives a plaque, and the awardee's departmental affiliation receives a monetary gift. For most medical students, the obstetrics and gynecology clerkship will contain at least one, if not many, firsts. Depending on when it occurs in the year, the obstetrics and gynecology clerkship may be a medical student's first exposure to surgery, to inpatient medicine, to outpatient medicine, to pediatric care of newborns, and to counseling patients on sensitive topics. It takes an extraordinary person, such as Dr. Tammy Sohn, to oversee a clerkship where students learn in such a wide variety of clinical settings and ensure that no matter their starting point, they can not only survive, but thrive in all of these environments. As clerkship director, this year's award recipient, Dr. Sohn, has led the obstetrics and gynecology rotation to include some of students' most meaningful clinical experiences, highest quality teaching, and most appreciated clinical feedback. She has mentored countless medical students in and out of the clinical setting, and consistently ensures that students feel heard and valued, and that they learn and grow throughout their training. She has not only inspired many students, including me, to become obstetrician gynecologists, but also has inspired many other students to become clinician educators, dedicated mentors, and compassionate providers. To our class, she exemplifies commitment to students and service to patients. It is thus my honor to introduce the 2023 recipient of the Sydney S. Pearl, MD, Clinical Teacher of the Year, Dr. Tammy Sohn.
Thank you, Sarah, and Stephen and Tammy. We are so privileged to have such incredible teachers that work here to help make this school what it is, an incredible institution. And now please allow me to say a few words to our graduates. Class of 2023, you are simply amazing. Yes, you are amazing and remarkable, and I wish I had more words. Some of you may be thinking, he says that every year to every class. And yes, graduating from the best medical school in the world is extraordinary in any year. But there is something truly different about you, as Dr. Fauci mentioned. You figured out how to accomplish your goals in the midst of a 3-year crisis filled with chaos and fear. COVID did not stand in your way. For most of you, medical school had just started, 8 months, 9 months, and then the world was turned upside down. All of a sudden, your classes went virtual. The anxiety, the panic that permeated everything we did in those first months of the pandemic. You will always remember how isolated we all felt, worried about getting COVID, worried about transmitting it to our patients or to each other, and then to be in quarantine, as some of us were. But somehow you managed to adapt to the enormous curveballs, and you found a way to thrive. Time and again, I and our education team have seen you figure out how to achieve your goals under what I would call the harshest and most hostile conditions we have experienced as a generation. And because of this, you are more prepared and better equipped than any graduating class to date. Why do I say that? And why is that so important and relevant? I say that because you are now entering the profession of the physician in a world that is possibly as harsh and certainly not ideal for what we do. It is a world posing all sorts of threats to medicine, medical science, and the very paradigm that has distinguished the physician in society in the past. What do I mean when I say paradigm of the physician? I mean the way society used to think of doctors. The doctor as expert, as all-knowing, the paragon of judgment, the trusted. The superhero doctors of TV shows that were way before your time. All the faculty up here know Ben Casey and Dr. Kildare and Marcus Welby, MD. I don't mean Meredith Grey or McDreamy. But perhaps the best example in modern times is Dr. Anthony Fauci, sitting right here behind me, who exemplifies all of those values in a physician. Today, we live in a time in which the opinion and expertise of the doctor is often weighed equally with information gathered on the internet, if it is weighed at all. Mistrust of doctors and medicine is widespread and the subject of popular conspiracy theorists. A rumor promulgated by media and public figures led to the use of unproven drugs in COVID, like hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin, instead of vaccines that have been subjected to clinical trials for efficacy and safety. Let's be honest. These were not merely expressions of mistrust. They were outright rejections of the way we use science to determine the best medical care. Several weeks ago, a Texas judge suspended the FDA's approval of a drug, mifepristone. The argument that was made was that it had been approved 20 years ago. And believe it or not, that approval was modified several times since then by expert panels of the FDA. But the explanation was this was all because of pressure tactics. It was not even relevant that over that 20-year period, efficacy and safety was apparent in no less than 5 million women. And yes, who will ever forget what was implied by the questions asked of Dr. Fauci by congressional leaders? In much of America, we are being told by government officials what we can't do in the clinical care of women and children based on cherry picking of theories that fit into a particular worldview, while characterizing the judgment of physicians and physician organizations as positions on one side of a political spectrum, as if the standards practiced by physicians are driven by ulterior motives. And of course, what are those ulterior motives? Take your pick between money, power, and authority. So what are we to do? Or maybe I should say that another way. What are you going to do? Throw up your hands? There's nothing I can do as an individual physician about societal trends, partisan movements. No, today we give you one last teaching lesson at Washington University School of Medicine, and that lesson is about the two things that must be your North Stars. And you heard about that from Dr. Fauci: science and compassion. Let's start with science. You are entering the medical profession at a time when opportunities from technological advances are beyond anything that any of us up here ever imagined. When the potential for scientific discovery in curing diseases is greater than it's ever been. We have had an impact on diseases that we never thought would be possible. A few weeks ago, a silencing RNA therapeutic was approved because it produced motor improvements in some patients with Lou Gehrig's disease. The messenger RNA platform that was used to make the vaccines for COVID can now be used to develop new cancer therapeutics. We have technology to alter genes and reprogram cells. None of that progress would have been made possible without science and medicine pursued at the highest levels at academic medical centers like this one, where we push ourselves and test our hypotheses in the most rigorous ways. These advances can only come from a culture unwilling to accept unproven treatments, a community in which we generate evidence and we follow it to wherever the science leads. And so when it comes to treating your patients, all of your judgments must be based in the very latest and most rigorously tested science. And when the science is lacking, which is all too often the case, you must search for the best expertise and look to your colleagues who have dedicated themselves to careers in research. Talk to the people who are doing the work and make sure your decisions are taking into account the most up-to-date scientific developments. What about the second North Star, compassion? As Dr. Fauci said, quote, "You and your humanity are keys to optimal patient care." Just as critical as scientific innovation to patient care is your humanity, your ability to look patients in the eye with compassion and understanding. Your ability to explain a diagnosis and treatment plan to a fellow human being sitting in front of you. To be a graduate of this medical school is to understand what goes into diagnosing an illness and how best to treat it. And to be a graduate of this medical school is all to understand that you have a responsibility and obligation to help your patients understand the science and the evidence. And you must see them as more than just a problem to be solved. They must know that you will search exhaustively for every possible approach to their condition, that you will listen carefully to them, to their concerns and their doubts, and why maybe your plan isn't going to work for them as an individual. The idea that you are right because you are the doctor is completely unacceptable. Because I'm the doctor is not going to be part of your lexicon. Yes, you are leaving here today as a doctor, but that title means nothing if you cannot successfully guide your patients with expertise and compassion towards better health. If you can demonstrate the value of your expertise and explain what you are doing, you build a relationship that is based on trust rather than authority. And those relationships you build can have a ripple effect because each patient you will see is a potential ambassador for medicine and science. If they feel good about the care they receive, if they feel heard and understood, if they see that you are genuine in your motives, it will change the way they talk about doctors and medicine in their families and their communities, one patient at a time, one family after the next. So what I am saying is that you will fight back against the mistrust and the alternate agendas by drawing on all those things that you have learned here in this place during the storm of COVID. Not just looking at the science, the evidence, and not just the relentless pursuit of improvement, but also the ability to extend understanding and compassion to every single patient. It will not be easy. Sometimes I think about the challenges facing medicine and medical science, and I feel apprehensive about our ability to reverse those troubling trends. But then I look at all of you. You have completed this first stage of your medical training under conditions none of us could ever have imagined. And you have not only survived, but you have thrived and you are ready. You have been able to meet each challenge with strength and optimism, and perhaps most importantly, compassion for everyone around you, your families, your classmates, your patients. You are ready to take on this task and be the doctors and scientists we will need in the coming years. A day like today, looking out onto all of your faces and the people who have supported you along the way makes me feel boundless hope for the future. Looking at all of you and knowing what you will do with your lives one by one is the ultimate validation of everything that we do at WashU Medicine. You are that validation. Congratulations, class of 2023, on all your accomplishments and all the growth yet to come. It's now my pleasure to invite Dr. Jennifer Lee, the president of the class of 2023. Jennifer.
Thank you, Dean Perlmutter. Before I begin, I would like to first take a moment to thank the WashU faculty and administration for their outstanding mentorship and unconditional support. Graduates, please join me in showing our appreciation with a round of applause. And now, to our distinguished guests, families, and friends, let me be yet another voice to welcome you to today's ceremony. As we all know, medical school certainly has its fair share of trials and tribulations. One night, after a particularly tough shift, I FaceTimed my parents to vent my frustrations with the many systems that seem to work tirelessly against physicians and their patients. Halfway through my rant, my dad calmly interjected, "You need to approach this as a stoic." As my sister can attest, this is a common piece of advice, or dad-vice, in the Lee household. We usually roll our eyes. But this time, I decided to do my research and figure out exactly what this Stoicism theme was all about. Stoics, I quickly discovered, were firm believers in daily and nightly routines, namely preparation in the morning and reflection in the evening, or in medical terms, pre-rounding and debriefing. They even specifically practice an exercise called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Essentially, you think of everything that might go wrong, as in situational awareness, and how you might handle those doomsday scenarios, as in contingency planning. Wouldn't you know, even those iPass handoffs have a touch of Stoicism. One of the tenets of Stoicism is that while we cannot control the situations we find ourselves in, what we can control is our response. Thinking back to the COVID-19 pandemic, I can't help but think that our class captured this ideal perfectly. Even as we dealt with uncertainty after uncertainty, navigated the novelty of Zoom lectures, and disinfected grocery bags, our class came together to manufacture face shields, deliver food to our city's most at-risk populations, provide childcare for healthcare workers in need, and create high-yield summaries distilling the avalanche of COVID-19 research. I was, and still am, incredibly impressed with and inspired by the students who spearheaded these efforts. In those moments, and throughout the past 4 years, I have learned so much from each and every one of you. From Dr. Kristen Pfeiffer and Dr. Nikita Sood, I learned the importance of advocating for patients from the ground up. From Dr. Sarah Cohen, that working to create and maintain a positive environment makes a world of difference to those around you. From Dr. Patrick Ward and Dr. Amy Zane, how to graciously give your time and expertise freely and wholeheartedly. From Dr. Kalyan Tripathi, our resident virtuoso, the value of pursuing interests outside of medicine. And from the rest of our esteemed MSTP colleagues, including our OG president, Mr. Alex Kim, the merit of unbridled scientific discovery. Truly, I could go on and on. This sentiment is summarized quite nicely in yet another principle of Stoicism, to always seek out opportunities to learn from others. Specifically, a Stoic by the name of Seneca once said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those who you are capable of improving. The process is a mutual one. We learn as we teach." This perhaps rings truer in medicine than in any other discipline, where we learn not only from each other, but from our patients as well. So as it turns out, Papa Lee knows best, except when Mom knows better. But that's another story for another day. In the meantime, be a Stoic, be a lifelong learner, and as the final graduates of the legacy curriculum, be confident that we now have the skills to build our own legacies wherever we go. Congratulations, class of 2023.
Thank you, Jennifer, for your speech and comments and for your dedication as president of this class. I now would like to introduce Dr. Lisa Moscoso, Associate Dean for Student Affairs, and Dean Moscoso will lead us to address the class and to lead the presentation and hooding of the doctors. Oh, Lisa, you're over here.
Thank you, Dean Perlmutter. So today, on behalf of Student Affairs and the Office of Medical Student Education, I just want to say congratulations to the class of 2023. So today, when you receive your hood and your diploma, I'm going to announce your names. So to prepare for this, I actually listened to your recordings, and I read your names, and I spent some time out in nature, just reflecting on each of you, and remembering your stories, and hearing your voices, and seeing your faces. And what I experienced in that time was just a deep joy and a privilege. Just what a privilege it has been to see all of you do such hard work to get to where you are today. And as I was sitting outdoors, it brought back a memory. And this memory showed up on my Snap story, or my Snapchat memories. And so around this time of year, I had visited the coastal redwoods in California, if you've ever been there. Yeah. It is amazing, and I encourage any of you to go there. What I remember was seeing these huge trees in circles. And what I learned was these huge ancient trees, some of which are like 800 years old and like 100 feet tall, the ancestral tree, when it falls, it then decays, and then it nourishes and supports new growth around it. And so in the midst of this space created by the ancestral tree, a family of trees grows. And underneath it is this web of support, these roots that intertwine and support each other. And it reminds me of your accomplishments, because none of us do this alone. It is that web of support of the ancestors, of our families, that help us to stand tall and help you to stand tall and strong and proud. And it occurs to me in this moment, our ancestors are here. Some of them here in the audience that you can put your eyes on, and some that live in our hearts and that live in our memory. And so now, in the presence of everyone here, including our ancestors, I get to proclaim the names of our newest doctors. So it is time. I'd like to ask Dean Perlmutter, Chancellor Martin, and Mike Donlin, Assistant Dean for Academic Affairs, to please come forward now for the presentation and hooding of the doctors. All right, we got the lineup. All right, the presentation of the degrees will have the following format. Although a few graduates are unable to attend the program today, I shall announce the full name of each graduate of the class of 2023. In addition, in the program, there's a listing of awards and prizes recognizing the outstanding accomplishments of our graduates. Parents and friends, please feel free to enthusiastically recognize each graduate after they're hooded and after I present them. So traditionally, the first Doctor of Medicine degree to be awarded goes to the class president of the graduating class. So Dr. Lee, please come forward. Dr. Jennifer Lee, who will be hooded by myself, would like to thank her family and her fiance, Matt, for fueling her with many sweet potatoes and endless encouragement. There's a story there, another story there. Jennifer will start residency in pediatrics, go peds, at the Children's Hospital in Boston. Thank you, Dr. Lee. All right, the first group of graduates completed 6 years or more of medical research and education and are receiving both a Doctor of Medicine degree and a Doctor of Philosophy degree. As I read your name, you'll cross the stage and meet the faculty member that will hood you and will be congratulated by Chancellor Martin, by Dr. Fauci, and by Dr. Perlmutter. All right, so our first MD PhD student, Dr. Erica Barnell, will be hooded by Dr. Wayne Yokoyama. Erica has deferred residency and will focus on her position as Chief Science Officer of Geneoscopy. She'd like to thank her grandparents, her grandmother, her husband and son, Kenny, and the university for supporting her dreams in research and medicine. And this is Kenny. Dr. Lindsay Breyer, hooded by Dr. Matthew Breyer. Lindsay will start residency in psychiatry in the Educated Physicians in Psychiatry program at the Hospital of the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. Dr. Lauren Brustel, hooded by Wayne Yokoyama as well. Lauren would like to thank her friends and family, especially her mom, dad, and brother, and her mentors along this journey. Your support is invaluable. Lauren will pursue neurology at the University of California, San Francisco. Dr. Rita Chen. She will be hooded by Dr. Michael Diamond. Rita will start residency in dermatology in the Physician Scientist Training Program at Barnes-Jewish Hospital. Dr. Christopher Chermside Scavo. Hooded by myself, Chris will start residency in orthopedic surgery. Yes, that's right, orthopedic surgery. At the University of Minnesota Medical School in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Dr. Robert Chen. Hooded by Dr. Michael Diamond, Robert will start residency in the Psychiatry Residency Research Program at the University of Washington Affiliated Hospitals in Seattle. Dr. Alexandra Houston Ludlum. Hooded by Dr. Tammy Sohn, Allie will start residency in obstetrics and gynecology at Barnes-Jewish Hospital, and she is joined on stage by her twin sons, Aiden and Ezra. Dr. Po Wei Billy Kang. Billy will be hooded by Dr. Jonathan Silva and will start residency in the Physician Scientist Training Program in Internal Medicine at UCLA Medical Center in Los Angeles, California. Dr. Manasi Malik. Hooded by Dr. Wayne Yokoyama, Manasi will start residency in the Physician Scientist Training Program in Internal Medicine at the University of North Carolina Hospitals in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Dr. Sindhu Manivasagam. Hooded by Dr. Robin Klein, Sindhu will start residency in internal medicine and pediatrics at Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee. We have a few graduates who couldn't be with us today. Dr. Olga Naiman, who will start residency in emergency medicine at the University of Massachusetts Chan Medical School in Worcester. Dr. Craig Pearson will start residency in psychiatry at Massachusetts General Hospital. And Dr. Vincent Peng, who will start residency in internal medicine at the University of California, San Francisco. Next, we have Dr. Maximilian Shetler. Hooded by Dr. Gavin Dunn, Max sends a special thanks to his family, friends, and numerous mentors who've supported him along the way. He'll start residency in internal medicine at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. Dr. Kalyan Tripathi. Hooded by myself, Kalyan would like to thank his mom, dad, Amy, Lindsay, Joe, and all his other mentors, friends, and family for helping him find his way here. He'll start child and adolescent psychiatry at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. Dr. Alex Wessel. Hooded by Dr. Michael Diamond, Alex will start residency in internal medicine at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, California. Dr. Emma Winkler. Also hooded by Dr. Michael Diamond, Emma will start residency in internal medicine at Stanford Healthcare in Stanford, California. The following group of graduates will be receiving their Doctor of Medicine degree as well as their Master of Business Administration degree. Dr. Stanley Chibueze. Hooded by myself, Stanley would like to say a heartfelt appreciation to his partner Gaming, friends and family, classmates, deans, donors, and to all who helped him persevere through the challenges of med school. And he'll start residency in psychiatry here at Barnes. Dr. Nathan Lohner. Hooded by Dr. Tom Defer, Nathan owes this accomplishment in its entirety to his amazing wife, Amber, for her dedication, patience, and teamwork. Nathan will start residency in anesthesiology at the University of Washington affiliated hospitals in Seattle. Dr. Jacob Wise. Also hooded by Dr. Tom Defer, Jacob thanks his friends and family for supporting him through this journey. He's taking a consulting position and will apply for residency in the future. The following group of graduates will be receiving their Doctor of Medicine degree as well as their Master of Population Health Sciences degree. Dr. Sarah Chang. Hooded by Dr. Joni Christensen, Sarah would like to thank her best friend, Adriana, her boyfriend, David, and her family for supporting her journey. Sarah will start residency in plastic surgery at the UCLA Medical Center in Los Angeles, California. The next 5 graduates will be hooded by Dr. Tom Defer. Dr. Alden D'Souza. Alden will start residency in radiation oncology at Barnes Jewish Hospital in St. Louis. Here we go. Dr. Irvie Holmes. Irvie will start residency in internal medicine at St. Luke's Hospital here in St. Louis, Missouri. Dr. Zachary Hong. Zachary will start residency in orthopedic surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, California. Dr. Xin-Wen Hu. Xin-Wen sends warmest thanks to her family, friends, and mentors. Your love, support, and guidance have made this challenging journey incredibly rewarding and enjoyable. She'll start residency in anesthesiology at University of Washington affiliated hospitals in Seattle. Dr. Ashwin Leo. Ashwin would like to thank his parents, sister, friends, and mentors for all the support and care through this journey. He'll start residency in physical medicine and rehabilitation at Barnes Jewish Hospital in St. Louis. Dr. Alexander Shang. Hooded by Dr. Michael Awad, Alex will start residency in urology at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. Dr. Nirmala Shivakumar. Hooded by Dr. Allison King, Nirmala would like to thank her family, friends, and mentors for their support. She's excited to continue this journey of new experiences together here as she starts internal medicine residency at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Jonathan Tang. Hooded by Dr. Timothy Lay, Jonathan will start residency in internal medicine at Barnes Jewish Hospital. The following graduates will be receiving their Doctor of Medicine degree as well as their Master of Public Health degree. Dr. Michelle Bagwell. Hooded by Dr. Tom Defer, Michelle would like to say thank you to her fantastic family, her wonderful partner, Amish, and her amazing friends. She couldn't have gotten here without you all. She'll start residency in psychiatry at Barnes. Dr. Sarah Cohen. Hooded by Dr. Eva Agard, Sarah would like to thank her faculty, mentors, her friends and family, and most of all, her parents and Raj for their unwavering love and support. She'll start residency in obstetrics and gynecology at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Hannah Lucas. Hooded by Dr. Thomas Defer, Hannah would like to say thank you to all of her incredible family and friends. She wouldn't have made it without your support. Hannah will start residency in peds at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Dr. Victoria Afei-Dwa. Hooded by Dr. Tom Defer, Victoria says thank you to Wash U for the immense opportunities afforded to her and to her family, friends, mentors, and supporters. She'll start residency in anesthesiology at Duke University Medical Center in Durham. Dr. Alex Shimoni. Hooded by Dr. Ana Maria Arbeles, Alex thanks all his wonderful family and friends for their love and support, without whom he would not be here today. He'll start residency in pediatrics at St. Louis Children's Hospital. The following will be receiving their Doctor of Medicine degree as well as their Master of Science in Clinical Investigation degree. Dr. Andrew Coxon. Hooded by Dr. Gavin Dunn, Andrew would like to say thank you to his mentors, Drs. Gavin Dunn and Tanner Johans, his parents, and his wife, Maria. He'll start residency in neurological surgery at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Gabrielle Johnson. Hooded by myself, Gabby will start residency in neurological surgery at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Amish Khan. He'll actually be hooded by Dr. Jay Piccirillo. And he shares that the quality that we call beauty must grow from the realities of life. He'd like to say thank you to his Mishi family and friends. Amish will start residency in internal medicine at the University of Pennsylvania Medical Center in Pittsburgh. Dr. Adam Liebendorfer. Hooded by Dr. Tom Defer, Adam will start residency in surgery at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Alex Donzik. Hooded by myself, Alex would like to say thank you so much to her family and friends for all their love and support, and to the mentors and patients who continually inspire her. She'll be starting in ophthalmology here at Barnes. The following graduates will be receiving their Doctor of Medicine degree. Dr. Kamila Abdur-Rashid. Hooded by Dr. Will Ross, Kamila would like to thank all of her friends and family for their endless love and support. She will start residency in obstetrics and gynecology at the University of Colorado School of Medicine in Aurora, Colorado. Dr. Faisal Ahmad, entering from the other side of the stage. Faisal is joined on stage by his daughter Amelia, and he would like to thank his parents, his sister, daughter, and all for their unconditional love and support. And a special thank you to his wife for her incredible sacrifice through this journey. He'll start residency in dermatology at St. Louis University School of Medicine. Dr. Ashley Amukamara. Hooded by Dr. Tammy Sohn, Ashley shares, when you become the image of your own imagination, it's the most powerful thing you could ever do. RuPaul. She'd also like to thank all who've supported her, and she'll start OB-GYN residency at the University of Pennsylvania Hospital in Philadelphia. Dr. Thomas Bain, hooded by Dr. Tom Defer. Thomas will begin residency in orthopedic surgery at the University of Kansas School of Medicine in Kansas City, Kansas. Dr. Joseph Banton, hooded by Dr. Margaret Schmant. Joseph would like to thank all his family and friends who've helped him achieve this goal. He loves you all. Joseph will start residency in general surgery at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Toby Barrick, hooded by Dr. Stephen Cheng. Toby will start residency in orthopedic surgery at Stanford Healthcare in Redwood City, California. Dr. Jack Bass, hooded by Dr. Mark Levine. Jack would like to thank all his family, friends, and mentors who've helped him on this journey. Jack will start residency in emergency medicine at the UCLA Medical Center in Los Angeles. Dr. Curtis Broberg, hooded by Dr. Alan Glass. Curtis would like to say thanks to his mom and dad, and thank you to all the friends and family and mentors who helped along the way. Curtis will start residency in internal medicine at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Michelle Kai, hooded by Dr. Timothy Lay. Michelle will start residency in psychiatry at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Catherine Carbonell, hooded by Dr. Tammy Sohn. Catherine shares, go confidently in the direction of your dreams. live the life you've imagined. She'll start residency in obstetrics and gynecology at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Angela Catani. Hooded by Dr. Margot Girardi, Angela would like to celebrate this opportunity and thank those who have supported her. She will strive every day to be the doctor that her patients deserve. She'll start residency in primary care, internal medicine at Boston University Medical Center. Dr. Jennifer Chung. Hooded by Dr. Andrew Lee, Jennifer would like to say thank you to all her family, friends, and mentors for how far you all have come and how far you hope to go. Jennifer will start residency in ophthalmology at Shea Eye Institute in Philadelphia. Dr. Samuel Clare. Hooded by Dr. Ryan Jackson, Samuel will start residency in otolaryngology at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Alexander Conway. Hooded by Dr. Maurizio Lisker-Melman, Alexander will start residency in internal medicine at the University of California, San Francisco. Dr. John Daines. Hooded by myself, John would like to thank the WashU faculty for their work and dedication and his family for their love and support, making medical school a dream come true. He'll start residency in pathology at the University of Utah in Salt Lake City. Dr. Madeline Danforth. Hooded by Dr. Carol Falk, Madeline will start residency in internal medicine primary care at the Hospital of the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. Dr. Drew Del Toro. Hooded by Dr. Stephen Chang, Drew will start residency in surgery at Stanford Healthcare in Stanford, California. Dr. Christopher Douglas. Hooded by Dr. Stephen Chang, Chris would like to say thank you to all of his loved ones who have been a part of this journey. He'll start residency in psychiatry at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Anna Dowling. Hooded by Dr. Stephanie Perkins, Anna will start residency in psychiatry at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland. Dr. Patrick England. Hooded by Dr. Sarah England, Patrick would like to thank his selfless family, friends, and mentors. Today is a testament to your guidance and sacrifice. We are our ancestors' wildest dreams. He'll start residency in orthopedic surgery at Northwestern in Chicago. Dr. Michael Finan could not be with us today, but will start residency in plastics at the University of Washington. Dr. William Freeman, Jr. Hooded by Dr. Donna Jeffy, William will start residency in emergency medicine at Barnes Jewish Hospital. All right. Dr. Pramod Ganapathy. Hooded by Dr. Stephen Cheng, Pramod will start residency in diagnostic radiology at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland. Dr. Cyrus Ghaznavi. Hooded by Dr. Rocky Bayani, Cyrus would like to thank his friends and family for being the proverbial village, his light at the end of the tunnel, and his North Star. Cyrus will start residency in internal medicine at the University of California, San Francisco. Dr. Mary Elizabeth Gard. Hooded by Dr. Chad Sylvester, Meg would like to thank her friends and family who are here to support her today, especially her mom, without whom none of this would be possible. Meg will start residency in psychiatry at New York Presbyterian Hospital at Columbia University in New York. Dr. Erin Guo. Dr. Guo will be hooded by Dr. Jennifer Yu. And he will start residency in thoracic surgery at Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus, Ohio. Dr. Gideon Haber. Gideon would like to thank his mom for everything. He loves you always. Gideon will start residency in radiation oncology at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York. Dr. Julia Hamilton. Julia would like to thank her family here today with a special shout out to her mom and dad and her partner Bailey. Julia will start residency in internal medicine at Oregon Health and Science University in Portland, Oregon. Dr. Jacqueline Hampton. That's also you. Could not be with us today. She'll start residency in diagnostic radiology at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Austin Hanneman. Hooded by myself, Austin would like to say thank you to his beautiful wife, Allie. Thank you to his supportive parents, and thank you, Wash U. He'll start residency in diagnostic radiology at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Gopika Hari. Hooded by Dr. Kendall Smith, Gopika would like to say thank you to her parents, brother, loved ones, friends, and mentors for all the support throughout the years. Looking forward to the years to come. Gopika will start residency in anesthesiology at Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston. Dr. Samantha Kaufman could not be with us today, but she'll be starting residency in peds at Case Western Reserve. Dr. Kelsey Kodama. Hooded by Dr. Stephen Cheng, Kelsey would like to say thank you to everyone who has supported her on this journey. We did it! Kelsey will start residency in pediatrics at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Dr. David Lozier. Hooded by Dr. Christopher Moran, David will start residency in neurological surgery at UCLA Medical Center in Los Angeles. The next three graduates will be hooded by Dr. Stephen Cheng. Dr. Alexandria Lenyo. Allie would like to thank her parents, her younger brother, her friends, and her mentors for their many years of support. Allie will start residency in internal medicine at Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville. Dr. Miranda Liang. Miranda will start residency in psychiatry at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Raj Mahal. Raj will start residency in ophthalmology at Washington University here in St. Louis. Dr. Kushanth Mallikarjun. Hooded by Dr. Charlotte Kennedy, Kushi is very thankful to his parents and family, without whom he would have never gotten here. Kushanth will start residency in diagnostic radiology at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Matthew Millett. Hooded by Dr. Jody Rye, Matthew will start residency in anesthesiology at the University of Chicago Medical Center in Chicago. Dr. Arwa Mohammed. Hooded by Dr. Megan Wren, Arwa would like to thank her parents, Safiye and Khalid, as well as her siblings for their love and support. She'll start residency in internal medicine at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Genevieve Munoz. Hooded by Dr. Stephen Cheng, Genevieve will start residency in diagnostic radiology at UCLA Medical Center in Los Angeles. Dr. Kevin Nacianceno. Hooded by Dr. Phil Asaro, Kevin would like to say thank you to God, his family, friends, and mentors for all their support. He will start residency in diagnostic radiology at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Marina Nguyen. Hooded by Dr. Megan Wren, Marina would like to thank her mentors, her friends near and far, and most importantly, her parents. She truly couldn't have done this without them. She'll start internal medicine residency at the University of California, Los Angeles Harbor Medical Center in Torrance, California. Dr. Chiama Adaza. Hooded by Dr. Dolores Njoku, Chelma would like to thank her family and friends who held her up and believed in her, especially during moments when she couldn't do it herself. Chelma will start residency in anesthesiology at the University of Toronto in Ontario, Canada. Dr. Adam Ostergar. Hooded by Dr. Alan Glass, Adam thanks his wife, family, and mentors for their support these past 4 years. Adam will start residency in urology at Mayo Clinic, Arizona in Phoenix, Arizona. Dr. Cole Pavlicek. Hooded by Dr. Tammy Sohn, Cole will start residency in otolaryngology at Oregon Health and Science University in Portland, Oregon. Dr. Emma Payne. Hooded by Dr. Charles Goldfarb, Emma would like to thank her parents, her sister Maddie, her extended family, friends, classmates, mentors, and Marina. For better or worse, you always support her craziest ambitions. Emma will start residency in orthopedic surgery at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Kristen Pfeiffoff. Hooded, she would like to say thank you to her family, her mentors, the cleft and craniofacial team at St. Louis Children's Hospital, and most importantly, her husband for his unwavering support during this big adventure. She will be starting emergency medicine residency at the University of Florida College of Medicine in Jacksonville, Florida. Dr. Bruin Pollard. Hooded by Dr. Steve Lawrence, Bruin will start residency in dermatology at Mayo Clinic School of Graduate Medical Education in Rochester, Minnesota. Dr. Matthew Richards. Hooded by Dr. Tammy Sohn, Matthew will start residency in general surgery at West Virginia University School of Medicine in Morgantown, West Virginia. Dr. Rachel Rios. Hooded by Dr. Ben Julian Polanca, Rachel will start residency in anesthesiology at Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville, Tennessee. Dr. Kareem Saud. Hooded by Dr. Badr Shakshir, Kareem will start residency in integrated plastic surgery at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Carter Scott. Hooded by Dr. Andrea Hageman, Carter would like to thank his wife, Naomi, the Scott, Holland, and Connor families, all for their support. Carter will start residency in obstetrics and gynecology at Oregon Health and Science University in Portland, Oregon. Dr. Sukruth Sashikumar. Hooded by Dr. Tammy Sohn, Sukruth would like to give all thanks to Amma, Dad, mentors, and friends. Sukruth will start residency in internal medicine at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston, Massachusetts. Dr. Haley Sherburne. Hooded by Dr. Tammy Sohn, Haley would like to say thank you to her new husband, Bruin, parents Zach and Carrie, brothers Connor and Cole, extended family, friends, and mentors. She's forever grateful to you. And she'll start peds at Mayo Clinic School of Graduate Medical Education in Rochester, Minnesota. Hooded by Dr. Colleen Wallace, yes. Dr. Lucy Simpson. Hooded by Dr. Tim Yao, Lucy will start residency in obstetrics and gynecology at Mercy Hospital in St. Louis. The next 6 will be hooded by Dr. Tammy Sohn. We have Dr. Ruba Sokrab. Ruba will start residency in orthopedic surgery at Indiana University School of Medicine in Indianapolis, Indiana. Dr. Nikita Sood. Nikita will start residency in obstetrics and gynecology at Brown University Women and Infants Hospital in Providence, Rhode Island. Dr. Janessa Sullivan. Janessa will start residency in plastic surgery at Yale New Haven Hospital in New Haven, Connecticut. Dr. Leo Say could not be with us and has deferred residency. Dr. Jeffrey Tarash. Jeff will start residency in internal medicine at Barnes Jewish Hospital in St. Louis. Dr. Ryan Wahidi. Ryan will be hooded by Dr. Leela Nolan, and he will start residency in vascular surgery at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Patrick Ward. Patrick would like to say thank you to Mary Kate for all your love and support. You made this dream first a possibility and then a reality. Patrick will start residency in ortho at the University of Chicago Medical Center in Chicago. Dr. Winston Winkler. Hooded by Dr. Mike Diamond, Winston will start residency in diagnostic radiology at New York University Grossman School of Medicine in New York, New York. Dr. Zihang Zhu couldn't be with us, and Zach will start residency in internal medicine at Stanford. Dr. Emily Yan. Hooded by Dr. Sid Purum, Emily will start residency in otolaryngology at Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus. Dr. Jonathan Yu. Hooded by Dr. Kathy Deemer, Jonathan would like to say thank you to his family, friends, and cat for supporting him through this journey. Jonathan will start residency in pediatrics at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. The next two graduates will be hooded by Dr. Tammy Sohn. Actually not, sorry. Dr. Amy Zhang. She will be hooded by Dr. Judith Liu. And Amy would like to say thank you to her family, friends, and mentors. She is so grateful for all of their love and support. She'll start residency in internal medicine at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center in Boston. Dr. Amy Zhao. Amy would like to say thank you to her parents and her friends for their support. She'll start residency in internal medicine at Barnes Jewish Hospital in St. Louis. And Dr. Valerie Zeich is unable to be with us today. She'll start surgery residency at UHS Southern California Consortium in Wildomar, California. So, family and friends, I present to you the class of 2023.
"30 years ago, the class of 1984 decided to take a professional oath and chose a modified version of the 1948 Declaration of Geneva. This year, we've asked Dr. Eva Agard, Vice Chancellor for Medical Education and Senior Associate Dean for Medical Education, Carol B. and Jerome T. Loeb, Professor of Medical Education and Professor of Medicine, to lead the class.
Okay, you guys ready to bring it home? All right. May I please ask all graduates to rise? May I also ask any physicians, including faculty, who would also like to recite the oath to please rise. All right, the way this is gonna go is I'm gonna start and then we're all gonna say it together, okay? You got it? You got it? You guys are being quiet. Okay, here we go. As a member of the medical profession, I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of humanity. The health and well-being of my patient will be my first consideration. I will respect the autonomy and dignity of my patient. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will not permit considerations of age, disease or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factor to intervene between my duty and my patient. I will respect the secrets that are confided to me, even after the patient has died. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity and in accordance with good medical practice. I will foster the honor and noble traditions of the medical profession. I will give to my teachers, colleagues, and students the respect and gratitude that is their due. I will share my medical knowledge for the benefit of the patient and the advancement of healthcare. I will attend to my own health, well-being, and abilities in order to provide care of the highest standard. I will not use my medical knowledge to violate human rights and civil liberties, even under threat. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. Congratulations to the class of 2023. This concludes the 2023 Commencement Recognition Ceremony for the Washington University School of Medicine. I would like to invite the graduates, their families, and faculty to the tent on Mudd Field for a class toast immediately following the academic recessional. Faculty and graduates, please stay risen for the recessional and follow the stage party down the center aisle to the class toast. The ushers will help guide you. We ask the families to remain seated until the end of the academic recession and all degree recipients have exited the athletic complex. Good evening and congratulations to the class of 2023.